Good afternoon, it's Judy from Sunday from the Sewing Room, and I'm in my sewing room today. It is snowing outside, it's awful out there. And we closed the store today. We figured between the snow and the Packer game playing at noon, there was no use in anybody coming out in that mess. So we do have some things going on in the store. Don't forget Wednesday. The Martelli event is going on. We do have representatives from Martelli, and believe it or not, they're coming here from Pensacola, Florida with this going on outside. So kudos to them, but make sure that you sign up if you haven't already. She said she has a free gift for everybody that signs up, so that's worth it right there. Then the following Tuesday, we have the Beer and Buddy buying event. So if you filled out a wish list or you haven't yet, make sure that you get in the shop to do it. Next Wednesday, the 10th, we're going to close the store to everybody except for those who are buying. They'll have refreshments, we'll have some beers, we'll have some snacks, and we're even going to gift wrap for those people who want gift wrapping. So that'll be great fun. And then the other thing that we have going on is take a look on our website under classes. We will also have some quick cuddle self-binding blanket classes. Those are so fun, so easy. We're going to have the kits cut for you, so sign up. And $35 for the kit, and it makes an amazing blanket. So come on in and we'll get you hooked up with that, and we'll set you up with the class. Also, tomorrow is Cyber Monday, and I'm putting the coupon code right below me for Cyber Monday. So if you shop online, it's going to be right there. We're going to give you 20% off $100 or more. That's 20 bucks. So that's really great. And if you're watching this from somewhere else, we only charge $5 flat rate shipping. Also, don't forget, for you people who do shop in the store, we do have a pickup in the store option. So use that coupon. It's a great deal. So today's tutorial is going to be bias binding. Bias binding is great for a lot of things. So if you do, let's say you're doing a circular project, or your quilt has curves or scallops, bias binding is the way to go. The other thing that's great for bias binding is stripes. And because I like that barber pole effect, you know, where it goes diagonally. And I'm going to show you how to get that effect. But bias binding is exactly that. I'm cutting fabric on the bias so that it has a little stretch to it. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So this is the fabric that I am going to use for bias binding. You can see it kind of has a stripe to it, and I am going to be putting it on a quilt. So I want that barber pole effect. So I have a whole yard of fabric here. This, I've pressed it, and this is just pretty much how I got it from the shop. It is off the bolt. And so it is 1 yard wide, or 1 yard in width, and then the 1 yard in length, holy cow, and 44 to 45 inch in width. So just your standard cotton fabric. So what I'm going to do, the first thing that I want to do is I want to actually find my straight of grain. And the only way to truly find your straight of grain is to actually tear this. So what I'm going to do is tear off this selvage. So I'm going to make a little snip, and I know that it's hard to tear fabric you just bought, but we're going to tear it off anyway. And that is truly the only way to find your straight of grain. So this is the side that I tore off, and you can see right there, and it's only going to tear off on the straight of grain. You can do it for the other side too, and this is also that selvage side, and I will do it here as well. And we're going to tear it off on that straight of grain. Okay, so now if I were to fold this in half again, chances are, because I did actually do it on the straight of grain, that those edges are no longer going to line up, and they don't. You see how it's off here and how it's off here? there's an easy way to fix that. So what I want you to do is I want you to take the opposite corners of your fabric. So take this upper left corner, and if I were to straighten this fabric out, I would take this corner, and then I have this weird bandana looking thing, and I'm just gonna give it a little stretch, okay? And then you're gonna do it with the other side as well. So I took opposite corners. I have this little weird little shape, and I'm going to give it a little stretch. So that should give me my good straight of grain, and we're gonna fold this back in half to check that out. So let me line this back up. And you can see that that is pretty darn good now. So there is my straight of grain right across here. So now it is all lined back up again, and let me fold this back correctly so that you can see it. And there. So now I have my straight of grain. So now I'm going to fold this back. I'm going to open this all the way up. And I'm going to have my fabric laid out here. And this is the 36-inch length. So what I'm going to do is, remember when you were in school and you made a kite? So basically all I'm going to do is fold this towards the center. So I'm going to take one fold and the other fold, and you'll know when you're in the center when these line up. So now you have this funny little kite look, and you can just press that out with your hands. I'm going to get it just a tad closer, and those are going to line up, and you can just press it out with your hand. So now I want to do just the same thing with the opposite ends. So I am going to fold this here. And then, so I don't get a weird little corner, I'm going to make sure that I put my finger there and fold that in there. And you will see, oops, I got to make sure that that is nice and straight. Make sure that is good and straight. And you will see that I will end up here with a square. Let me fold that flat and straight for you. All right. So now I want to make sure that all of my ends meet and everything is good. So here is my square. So I have the big square of fabric. So what I'm going to do is I am going to turn this so that it is on my mat, and you will see that it extends to the end, so I can't really cut that really well if it goes off my mat. So don't be afraid to flip this up and make sure that your ends are even, and slide it down so that it does fit on your rotary mat. So now I have that ready, and I want to make sure that I'm going to cut this fold off. So I'm going to take a good 1/2 inch cut, because I want to make sure that I have cut everything. And I'm going to cut this right off, just like that, okay? And now I'm just going to toss that out. Now I can cut my binding strips. So I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch binding strip, and I always use my ruler to line it up with. And I'm going to give this a cut. Okay, so now when I pull this apart, I didn't cut it well here, so let me get that cut. When I pull this apart, I now have 2 pieces of bias cut binding. And here's what's really cool, is now not only do I have my bias cut binding, and you can see that it is stretchy and it stretches like this, I also have the ends are already cut for me in an angle. So all I have to do is turn this over, make sure my tails go off each end, and sew this and keep continuing with my binding. Let me cut one more and I'll show you it again. So I'm going to cut at 2.5, because I'm going to be using a 2.5 inch binding. Cut all the way through, and I will have 2 bias binding strips. So that is our Sunday Secrets from the Sewing Room on this Sunday. You all stay warm, and we will see you in the shop next week. And don't forget that Cyber Monday code. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.